but it still felt like I was a teenager, and I really felt like I was invincible for that entire time. I would do a lot of acrobatic stuff, a lot of kind of dangerous stuff, and I was always okay no matter what. And this was the first time that I had something happen to me that I could not change, and I couldn't do anything about it, and it wasn't going to go away. And that was kind of a surprising moment for me, but it's also an important lesson, because there are some times in life there's things that you may not want to happen, and they do happen, and you just have to learn to work through that, and it's important. How about right there? Yeah. I reached out to a number of people to keep openness, is what your question was, during the alopecia set-in. I had a lot of friends and a lot of family, and I reached out to them very frequently for support, and they were all very, very supportive. For me personally, I think I actually would have preferred that they were a little bit less empathetic at the time, because for me to get through it, I really just needed a firm kick in the butt, I think. And eventually I had to give myself that kick in the butt. So I think it took a little bit longer. But it's always good, you know, when you're in a really sort of depressed area, it helps to reach out to people. But it's also kind of a short-term help. And in the end, it's always you that has to decide for yourself. You say, I'm gonna be okay with this, I'm gonna get through it. And that is a very personal decision.
Okay, another question in the back here.
Mm-hmm.
Before you had alopecia, what color was your hair?
My hair was like a very dark blonde. Right here. I am 31 years old. I know, pretty old, huh?
All right, another question in the back.
Do you think you're going to go into the next challenge next year?
American Ninja Warrior again? Yes, indeed. I do think I will be on American Ninja Warrior next year. How about right here on the green? Yeah, I could talk about my nutritional health, but it's probably not that great.
Pancakes and bacon.
I eat mostly what I want. I do try to get a variety of things. I think variety is important. But I don't have any strict, specific diets. The one thing I do avoid, and it's largely because when I was a kid I had an allergy to it, was I don't eat cow's milk or cheese or any of that. But that's basically it. Other than that, I'm a big believer in you just work out really, really hard, and then you eat whatever you want. How about right there?
Well, we do half of that, right? We eat whatever we want.
Oh, that's a good question. How did I overcome being shy? It's really, you just have to force yourself to do the kind of things that a shy person wouldn't do. Like, you just think, okay, if I was shy, I would sit here and I wouldn't say anything to anybody, but a not shy person would go talk to somebody. And you just make yourself get up and go talk to somebody. And it's very difficult because it's something you really don't want to do at first. But if you do it over and over again, it becomes comfortable. And then you become comfortable with it, and then you're no longer a shy person.
Another question back here.
What did you do when people bully you or call you like you have cancer?
That's a good question, and one of the best things, it's kind of tough to answer, because when bullying starts, you're already in a difficult situation. I think the best thing to do with bullying is to try to find ways to preemptively avoid it. And that's not always easy. But being confident is a big part of that, because bullies look for shyness, or if you look like you're showing weakness, that's a sign that you can be bullied. And then they will target something else about you, like your hair or anything that makes you look different. So I think the best way to deal with that is to really try to project confidence and try to be the kind of person that they might be intimidated bullying. for when you get the cancer comments, which I've gotten before, I just don't get angry at those. You know, it's not that those people are trying to upset you. They just don't know what's going on. So you just say, oh no, I don't have cancer. It's actually something else. I just can't grow hair, is usually what I say. Because it's very simple. And if they want more explanation, then you can tell them what alopecia is. But you just tell them that you don't have cancer. How about right there? The hardest challenge I've ever done on American Ninja Warrior. I think for me it was learning how to do the floating doors on stage 3. That took a long time. It was a hard one because I didn't have a lot of pinch grip from my background as a track and field athlete, and it requires a lot to hold on to a door that's hanging like that, just from one edge. But once I developed the strength for it, it became comfortable to sit on it like that, and that was a nice feeling.
All right, have another question back here.
Okay.
What treatment did you use for your eyebrows?
I got localized steroid shots in the eyebrows, which is a little bit painful. I think I get about like 6 to 8 shots per eyebrow, like once a month. Wasn't worth it. How about you right there in the pink?
I'll walk this way.
Oh, that's a very good question too. How did I know how to train on the obstacles? You don't always know which obstacles there are going to be on American Ninja Warrior. In fact, you usually don't know at least a few of them. So you really have to try to train general fitness ideas and general athletic ideas. You train core components like, can you swing off of a bar, and can you run for a long period so you have endurance, and can you pinch grip onto something? And you find all these little different things, and you try to make sure that each one of those is good enough to get through the course. You don't have to be the world's best at any of them, but you just have to be good enough at all of them.
Another one back.
Okay.
Back here.
I have two questions. One of them is, did you play any sports when you were younger?
Did I play any sports? Yes, I did. When I was a kid, I played baseball and soccer, and I did a little bit of taekwondo and gymnastics. And I loved baseball as a kid. I actually wanted to be a professional baseball player before I wanted to be a Ninja Warrior. And then in high school, I did cross country, wrestling, and track. And how about you right there in the hat? I didn't notice any physical effects while I was training from the immunosuppressant, but I wasn't on it very long. The full body immunosuppressant I went on for like 1 month, and all my hair did grow back during that time. But I didn't want to keep it up because I knew that it was not good for you. Right here in the front. Okay. Do I have a personal trainer? No, I am my own personal trainer. My favorite thing about having alopecia is definitely how quickly I dry when I get out of the shower. How about you right here? How much money do I make? Well, I make some money from doing events and shows, and I have a sponsorship by a company called Circus Tricks, which is nice, and that just started this year. Thank you. But I believe I'm the only ninja with a sponsorship like that right now, and we do not get paid to be on the show. It's a volunteer thing.
Another question back here.
Yeah.
Before you run on American Ninja Warrior, do you tell the other contestants what you have, like alopecia?
I don't volunteer. Like I don't normally talk about it unless I'm asked. So if somebody says, "Hey Kevin, why don't you have any hair?" then I'll explain it. But other than that, I treat everybody the same way that I want to be treated, and I expect them to treat me the same way. And I don't Don't really like to bring out differences if I don't have to. How about you right there in the blue? Embarrassed in my job? Well, I'm sure that I have, probably more than once. I used to work for a bank, and sometimes you'd have customers with you in front of you all the time, and you'd also be typing on the computer, and there'd be a lot of numbers going through your head, and you're trying to hold a conversation. Sometimes I would just say things that didn't make any sense because I had too much going on, and that was pretty embarrassing.
Another question back here.
If there's a pain-free, safe treatment tomorrow that grew hair, would you take it?
Ooh, that's a great question, and I would not. I would not take it.
And a follow-up back here also.
When you're being bullied, is it better to talk it out with the person or go to war?
It's a great question. I guess it kind of depends on the person that you're being bullied by. If you can talk to them and they're receptive to that, that's definitely the better option, but not everybody is. So it's best to try to avoid people who are bullying you if you can. And sometimes, if you're going to go to war with somebody who's bullying you, I think the best way to do it is you have to find something that they respect, and then you have to show them that that's you. And that gives you an edge that you wouldn't have before.
I want to add on that just because it's a good question. I think the most important thing is you never want to get into an argument, or especially a physical argument, but you definitely want to make sure that the person who's bullying you understands that it's not working. So you need to have a comeback. Not to be mean, you don't want to bully the bully, but if they say something like, oh, you're bald, well, you say something back to them that diminishes what they're saying. So if someone says, oh, you're bald, you can just say, well, what, did you get contacts? I've been bald all day. And then walk away. If you do stuff like that, it's not much fun to bully somebody who's not willing to be bullied. So as long as you stay strong, exactly what Kevin said, you really don't have to worry about it. And then people will ignore you. Well, not ignore you in a bad way, but you know what I mean. You know what, to make it easier for the questions, I just thought of a great way of doing it. If you have a question, come in the back and we'll go in order. So that way we can get most of the people's questions done. So if you have a question and you're not in the front, come in the back here and get in line, please.
Okay, while they're getting in line, we'll take your question right there. Spartan show, how hard is it? It's pretty hard. It's a lot different than Ninja Warrior. It's still obstacles, of course, but everything's wet, everything's covered in mud. If you